I picked a buyer yesterday, uh, my daughter and her fiance.
Very cool. That's awesome, girl.
And
Next.
I'm
I have a personal win.
Share it.
My wife comes home in a couple of days,
That's
finally.
exciting.
Yeah. This lone life is not for me. It's been too long.
Dude, I get it. 100%.
Sheldon's face is not the one I expected to hear that content from. Sheldon, how old are you?
Old enough to be
I'm,
married.
yeah, I'm
Apparently,
23. I got married at 20. We've been together since
bro.
16. Yeah. Yes, I'm married at 23, guys.
Well, I was married at
good.
23. Not married at 41. Just saying. No, I'm kidding. I love that. You guys have a fantastic relationship. We can tell from everything you talk about.
I was definitely not married at 23 or 30 or 33, but I was married at 35.
I was married at 18.
That explains why you got 93 kids.
Damn,
Yeah,
Audra getting an early start.
right.
Why has got to be an overachiever, Audra?
Hey, when you know, you know.
Ah, right.
All right, who else got married super young? Good.
My
Jess
husband and
did.
I, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I got married at 20, I think at 25 or 26.
I didn't know you were that old.
No,
Right.
Dan, I always think that. I'm like, that was yesterday.
And 2 kids later, I have 2 kids now.
Yeah, Jessica had two kids right out of high school and got married.
I'm still in high school. I was a teen mom.
No. Eric, you said you and your husband got together early?
Yeah, got married at 20. We're about to be celebrating 24 years of marriage.
That's awesome.
Nice job.
I don't know how you can have 20 years of marriage, getting married at 20 and only be 27 years old. The math.
Right? Thanks.
And Anthony in the chat, never married. You didn't have to tell us, dude. We knew. Some things are just obvious. No, I'm kidding. Now, Anthony's going to get married soon, and it's going to blow everybody's socks off.
Mhm.
There is someone out there to tame his wrangle. I get it. Well, good morning. Happy Friday. I saw Sam's face on for a minute, but now he's back. We were talking about marriage, and he ran. He's all, "No, my wife's going to hear this shit." And I don't even remember when we got married, so I got to go look it up because she's going to ask me when he gets off the call, "Honey, when is your anniversary?" He's like, "Oh, funny you would ask. It's August 15th." Haha.
No, actually, it's funny. So I, so we've been dating since like I think we've been dating longer than she. No, sorry, I said that wrong. We've been dating for more than half of her life, which is bizarre to me. But I asked her to be my girlfriend on August 16th. Her birthday is August 24th. Our anniversary is August 26th. And it took me like 10 years to figure out that those dates like were different and they weren't all the same date or they weren't like different. It was a club like 10 years, pardon my language. But I would like be like, happy birthday on August 16th. And she's like, that's our anniversary of when you asked me to be your girlfriend. Or I'd be like, happy anniversary on her birthday, just yeah. So dates and anniversaries, they're important to the ladies. So fellas, remember dates. That's the important thing. It's
I just think it's funny. I got real damn close with my guest August 15th.
their
That's kind of scary.
yeah. How are we all doing?
We're good.
Great.
Good.
Great.
You
So
guys,
you gotta be smart, Sam. You gotta have dates that are easy to remember.
you
Like
know?
my wife was born 8787.
Oh,
We got married 2323.
yeah. Yeah.
I did that on purpose. She thought, "Oh, it's so cute of a date." I'm like, "No, I'm doing this for my future."
Yep. That's funny.
Let's talk business loans.
Yeah.
I ran into someone yesterday, a gentleman, a friend of mine who actually gave him your number, Sam. So when he's ready, he'll be reaching out to you. Makes about $160,000 a year, has very little overhead and debt, However, it's all business income because everything's paid through the business, and so he doesn't have like a W-2 or any kind of formal income. How can we help someone like that?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways to do that. And ironically, this has been the topic of this last week. Most of the clients that I talked to last week were self-employed or just had wonky sort of income from their businesses. So normally, self-employed income, you'd have to take a 2-year average of your Schedule C, and that'd be your monthly income. So you take your 24-month total and divide it by 24, and that would be your qualified income. However, with most people that own a business, especially in the first couple of years, they are trying to realize as little profit as possible, right? So you have your gross income, your net income, anything you're paying on your net income, or anything you claim as your net income, you're paying taxes on. So they want to write off, any sort of business expenses they can. And when it comes to buying a home, that can be really, really damaging sometimes because, I have a friend of mine that he does landscaping, and his business makes like a little over $1 million a year, but on paper, he makes like $62,000 a year. And it's not fraud or not anything crazy. It's just he's got a lot of expenses: gas, mower blades, weed eater twine, just gloves, whatever you name it. So we have to kind of look at both those things and figure out, okay, what is number one? I don't care how much you pay in taxes. I just write the loans, right? So if we're qualifying a Schedule C income and we don't have enough there, a lot of times we'll revert to like a bank statement loan. So we'll look at like their 24-month or 12-month running average of their basic like balance they have in their bank statements. And then every business has a cost factor. So we kind of figure out what is their business cost to run on a monthly basis, and we factor that into that balance, and that gives us our monthly income. There's also another type of financing for business owners called asset depletion. So if you have, $500,000 in the bank, and you don't have any qualified income because you don't want to pay a bunch of taxes, we can take that 500,000, divide it by 36, as long as you can take distribution from it and use that as your qualified income. So a few different ways to qualify someone if they are a business owner, or if they don't have any like standard, income streams like a pay stub or paycheck they get every 2 weeks.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You guys know someone that might be able to work in an avenue like that? Right. I know I'm one of them because I definitely don't make on paper what I make in real life because of the good old government tax breaks. Because there's a tax encyclopedia out there that has tons of opportunities to take care of ourselves. So when I say, do you know anyone that could benefit from that? It's you.
Yeah.
You as a realtor, as a business owner, have options, especially if you're running your business lean. Not that I'm ever going to give you tax advice, talk to a tax professional, but if you can pay less in taxes, pay less in taxes legally.
Mm-hmm.
Business write-offs are a real thing because it's real. You can make $1 million a year and then not have enough income to finance a hot dog. So there's opportunities out there. So I love that. You got business owners that maybe in the last 5 years, let me say this. Did you know in the last 5 years, we saw more independent business ownership than we had in the previous 20?
Yep.
More people got out of a traditional 9-to-5 W-2 and went into 1099 contracting or self-employment completely because they found that they can work for themselves and make more money than they were working for the man. What are two really big 1099 contractors that we don't think about? Anyone can think of them? Most of us have used them.
Handyman?
No?
I don't know.
Bigger companies. They're two big companies. Uber big companies.
Oh, I'm gonna need a hint to give me a lift on this.
Yeah, heavy lifting, guys. I'm going to do it for you. Think of two uber big companies that helped lift the amount of people that were doing 1099.
Uber and Lyft.
Uber and Lyft.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Those people are 1099. There was a point where they're trying to make them W-2, but that didn't work. But yeah, you can make enough money driving for Uber and Lyft to be able to qualify for house, just not traditionally. That's why we get Sam and say, "Hey, Sam, I got, Josh here that wants to buy a house and he's an Uber driver. Talk to him." That's
think-
why. So,
One of the coolest things that that I've been able to kind of not share, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but one of the coolest things I've been able to share with people that didn't realize it previously is the fact that as a real estate agent, you can use your commission towards or as your down payment. And I've helped so many people buy their first house as a realtor just using their commission. And when they realized they could, they're like, "Holy smokes, I didn't know this, years ago." But yeah, do you guys know you can use your commission to buy your first house or buy a house?
Just get with your broker on how to do that before they say that you have to. I think Dan probably knows what I'm talking about. I got a call recently from an agent asking about that.
Yeah, your managing broker has to be able to write kind of what your commission breakdown would be. They have to okay it. But as long as they're cool with it, you can use your commission to buy a house.
and don't factor it at the 3%. Factor it at what it is after your splits and fees and all the other nonsense. If you can get your place to be, if you can get your commission to be not a taxable event, fantastic. But if you're using it for a down payment, fantastic. Overestimate what you're going to need so you come in more prepared so you're not surprised. Don't go in with minimum expectations. Go in with, I need to fight this grizzly bear barehanded in a Speedo. And when you walk in and there's a suit of armor and 6 other guys to help you, you're excited, right? I love that. As my dad always taught me, is prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Because if you go in knowing I'm going to need X, Y, and Z, it's going to suck, it's going to be heavy, you're ready for it. I worked with a guy that was he was a lawyer at one point in his life, and he just got tired of that world, and he went into cabinet design. Very strange transition. But he used to tell his sales guys, because he became a sales leader, I'm going to sell a nightmare and deliver a dream. I'm going to show them everything possible that they're going to need, think about, want, do, hate, have to jump through all the hurdles, all the dust, all the debris, all the headaches. And then I'm going to take care of most of it so they don't have to. That's what we do as professionals, is we make them understand what they're doing and come in prepared, right? Yeah, it's going to be shitty. You're going to have to get 5 months of bank statements. You're probably going to have to deliver them 3 or 4 times because every new underwriter wants to get a new copy. I don't understand that. So I hope this is helping you guys realize that there are people in your world, in your life right now, that have wanted to buy a house or an investment property, that we could get them financing support. What's the number one reason people don't buy an investment property?
Because they don't know enough information.
Because they don't know they can.
Mm.
Sam, how many times have you seen this in your career where somebody goes years without being an investor, they buy their first one, figure it out, hey, that wasn't that hard, and now they got 15?
Yeah, gosh, more times than that was literally me. I'd closed like a little over 1,200 transactions, kind of watching people build their real estate portfolios and buying investment properties and waiting till I was ready. And then I noticed this trend with every single person that was buying an investment property is it was always like shit show to get them qualified. Like they were not ready. They saw the house. They're like, I need to make this happen. How do we make this happen? So I think that was the big kick in the pants for me to realize, like, yeah, you're never really ready, but if you see opportunity, you kind of have to just go for it and figure out how to. There's this quote. Oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. Something along the lines of like an entrepreneur jumps and then figures out how to open the parachute, something like that. But it's really good, right? So like, you know, with a lot of things that are worth it in life, you don't go into it fully prepared. You sort of like know that's what you want to do. You make the jump, and then you figure out how to do it. You know, so yeah, there's been countless situations where I've come across people that didn't think they were capable or ready, and then just after exploring options and realizing that there are literally a ton of different ways to buy a house, they realized they could have a long time ago. So best time to do it is now. Second best time was 10 years ago.
Good.
Now, who's more excited about the potential there's prospective potential of you becoming an investor? God, if I could go back in time when I was 23 years old and I first got into real estate, if I had all of this conversation and all of this connection and all of these mentors, you guys have, that's what we are to you. We're mentors. Every one of us is mentoring someone else on this call. We're giving of our value. And if I would have known what I know now 12 years ago, 15 years, holy shit, I'm old. 15 years ago, guys, the world would be mine. At 23, I was just throwing money away. I was spending $600-700 a week at the bar. Yeah, I know, it was terrible. I'd go out. We had a lot of fun. If you were around me, we were having some fun. I didn't care who you were getting shots, right? But if I could have taken that and just half of it and gone, you know what, Dan? Let's put $300 a month away towards buying something and creating some value. It would have changed everything. And Sheldon, you're there. Think about that. I know some of us are not in our 20s, and that's okay. You're 20 at heart, right, Anthony? Always a pedigree. But here's the time. Like he said, the best time to have done it was 10 years ago. The next best time is now. So now we think about that as, okay, we talk to our spheres of influence. We talk to the people in our lives that we have direct influence over. These are people that when we say something, they listen. And we say, hey, have you ever thought about being a real estate investor? They're going to say one of two things. Yeah or no. Doesn't matter what they say. You go, okay. Is that something you'd want to do this year or next year? All right. Would you be paying cash or do you need financing? Guaranteed 95% of them are going to need financing. And so you know what? They're going to say, I don't know how I could do that. I can never qualify for that. You know what? I think you might be able to. I think we need to talk to Sam. It's that simple. It's insane. Sam just closed a deal for one of my close friends, Kareen. A year ago, I sold her house. And she said, I never want to be a homeowner again. That was such a fucking disastrous process. I don't think I'll ever qualify to buy a house again, ever again. And we sold a $200,000 house. She just closed on a $400,000 house in like 9 days, 10 days.
I think the coolest thing about that story is, so she has 200. You know, I'm gonna keep personal stuff personal, but she has multiple figures of student loans that she owes, and she's in a deferment. She has like 100. She's basically like almost done with this government repayment program where she works at a nonprofit company. They will forgive her student loans, the balance. But in order to have, she has to be in there for a certain amount of months. In order to finish that and qualify, she has to pull herself out of deferment and make a monthly payment. And she was really scared of doing that because she has a massive balance she has left. And so her income-based repayment would have put her like, you know, $800 a month for student loans. And we were able to negotiate, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like $130 a month that she'll pay for 8 more months and then have multiple 6 figures forgiven out of her student loan balance. That was super cool. That was, to me, that was way better than just getting her a house because I was actually able to change the trajectory of her life. Like instead of being in debt until she's 90 years old, paying off student loans. She'll have, a couple $100,000 of student loans paid off and forgiven in the next year, and she'll do it for a fraction of what she would have normally paid.
Mm.
And she gets a house.
Pretty freaking cool, man.
Mhm.
Pretty freaking cool. Yeah, I called her the day we were closing at like 7 in the morning. I tried to catch her before she went to work and I was a little late. And I was like, hey, today that you can become a homeowner again, right? She goes, Dan, I can't cry at work. I have too much makeup on. Well, it looks like you're going to the bathroom soon. Go get that shit fixed. How many people out there are in the same position? I don't think I'll ever qualify. I don't think I'll ever be able to. No one in my family's ever owned a house. Like, we're just renters. I've heard that. And I was like, what? We're just renters? How does that make any sense? You've lived in the same house for 18 years. You have paid off your landlord's mortgage.
Right.
We're just renters. There are down payment assistance programs, right? Not even just for first-time home buyers. There are grants. There are county programs. There are bank statement loans, right? I got one of the tenants in one of my rentals as a truck driver. Makes about $150,000 a year, if not more. But he has zero credit, never bought anything. They're just renters. And I'm like, dude, I can help you get a house. And in December, when his lease is up, we're going to have a real strong conversation. He's been here for 2 years now. Like, dude, what are you going to do? Are you going to buy it? Or are we going to, continue to pay my mortgage off? I'm good either way. But I love helping people. Sam loves helping people. You love helping people. And if we don't go out there and talk about these things and showcase the opportunities, then how can we help people? So my buddy Chris, this is who I was talking to yesterday, owns Screens Plus. It's a phone repair company. He was on the base for a while and he got off base. Now he's just off of first. And Chris, I've known Chris for a decade. And I talk to him all the time. It's always a joke. He goes, when are you going to find me a house? I was like, when are you going to call my lender? He's all, soon, man, soon, bro. But he's like, man, I'm just really worried because I don't have any income on paper. I'm like, dude, we've got potential. We got bank statement loans. We got business loans. We got all kinds of things we can help you out with. Quit going to the credit union that doesn't know what they're doing. Go to a broker that knows what they're doing. Yeah, I called my bank and they said that there's nothing they can do. I know, because it's your bank. Your bank is a normal bank. Walk in, deposit, walk out, sad. Right?
All that money.
What other wild investment or wild lending strategies can you think of, Sam, that might help my flock here go out and talk to people this weekend about the opportunities that lay before them?
Gosh. Well, there's I think the one of the unrealized ones right now, just with the affordability crisis, is borrower paid 2-1 buy downs. So a lot of times, like in a tight market, you can't get. Do you guys know what a 2-1 buy down is, or a 3-1 buy down, a temp buy down?
Yeah.
Basically, just to recap it, a temp buy down is when someone is buying their house, the seller would be able to contribute a portion of proceeds that would get held in an escrow account, and they'd be used to offset the buyer's monthly mortgage payment. So with a 2-1 buy down, it would be a 2% decrease on the interest rate for 1 year. And it's not actually a 2% decrease in interest rate. It's just whatever that payment would be if it was 2% lower. That amount is held in an escrow account and is paid on their behalf on a monthly basis. Those were really popular until the market started to heat up again and become more of a seller's market. And now it's hard to get that money negotiated from the seller. But clients can now do a 2-1 buy down. So they can put money away themselves and have that covered in their closing costs. They don't have to have that money on hand. They can offer more and ask for seller credit. So if there's, if they're buying a $300,000 house, they can offer $310 as long as it appraises and get 10 grand back and have that 10 grand held in an escrow account and basically pay, a $300 less per month payment for the next year or 2 years, and really drastically decrease their monthly payment. So there's a lot of ways that we can make affordability happen. You just have to be able to have the right conversations with the right people. And that's the coolest and most disappointing thing is when I talk to people that have been struggling for a while to get into a house. There's a lady that I met with last night. She's been searching for 5 years, has not got a house, and it's because she was approved with Bank of America. And Bank of America, any bank, credit union, they're super risk averse. So they want to lend money as a last resort. They want to keep as much money as possible. They don't really want to give money out if they don't have to. And so they're really risky. They have super restrictive guidelines when it comes to giving their money away and lending it out. Whereas, someone like me, I'm working directly with the servicer of the mortgage. So I'll, call up UWM, who's going to hold the mortgage for the next 30 years and be able to get something done that like Bank of America would never imagine doing because risk of.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that. I don't think a lot of people know that, I just go to USAA or Navy Fed. I mean, they're great for consumer stuff, but they're not great for trying to get loans.
Yeah.
They want to lend their money out in credit cards and auto loans. They don't want to play with the big money on houses. I really hope we're tickling some mitochondria in your brain. I don't know if that's a real thing. It sounded cool. But you go out there and start getting some business together, guys. There are far too many deals out there to be had, but buyers are scared to act.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a funny story. Actually, on Kareem's deal, we got an email from Sam's processor. I don't know who she is. She's all, we have excess credits to use. Send us the settlement statement so we can make sure we use them all. And then they dropped her rate even more.
Yep.
Think about that. Instead of being on the agent like, well, the seller only had to give away so much. No, they're like, nope, the seller offered X amount. We're getting every single penny. I mean, I did respond. You guys can always pay me more, but whatever. That didn't work out.
I had a quick question for Sam about wrapper. I recently was listening. I've heard about wraparounds before, but I don't know. Is that something that you guys do, or that is ever helpful?
So I do them personally as part of my investment strategy, but it's not something that you would use a loan officer for typically. The way a wraparound or a subject to works is you're basically recording a real estate contract and assuming without actually officially assuming the person's interest rate. So let's say, for instance, Dan owns a house and he owes $200,000 on it. It's worth $400,000 and he has a 2% interest rate and he just wants to get out of it. I could go to Dan and say, hey, Dan, I'm going to give you, $50,000 to walk away from this. I'll sign a contract to buy your house for $350,000, $375,000, even $400,000 at that point. I'll give you market value for it, but I want to take over your mortgage. I don't want you to get a new mortgage. And Dan could think about it and be like, that makes sense. I'm not going to buy another house. I'm going to be a renter, or I'm going to go live in my yacht now that I have $100,000 in the bank. And I would continue making his mortgage payments on his behalf until the loan is paid off. The benefit to you as an investor is there's a tremendous amount of value in that debt, right? Just comparing apples to apples, a 2% interest rate versus a 6% interest rate on a $400,000 house is equivalent to buying another 1.25 houses. So if you can retain that lower interest rate, you're essentially, buying another 1 to 2 houses down the road. So, but no, you wouldn't use a loan officer for that. That's something that real estate attorney can be helpful for. Fellow real estate agents. I certainly can help from like an advisory standpoint, but there would be no commission transferred for me to officially help put that together for you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learn something? Good.
Yeah.
Sam, last thoughts?
Well, I have a challenge. So,
you like challenges.
This week, so Friday to Friday, when we meet next Friday, I would like to see all of you, but at least one of you, bring me a scenario that you had a conversation with someone who was like, I can't buy a house. Here's why. Bring me that why, and let's solve that on next Friday's call. Let's figure out a way to make the impossible possible. Good?
Right? You in?
Yes.
Hey, you almost might get some commission out of it. Oh, sell a house, right? Solve a challenge, sell a house. Oh my God, it's almost like we're here making money.
One
All
of
right,
my
friends.
favorite quote, this is my last thought, and then we'll do high fives. Favorite quote I've ever heard is, your income will always be in direct proportion to the complexity of the problems you solve.
I solved some pretty incredible problems. And I solve those with people. Sam, that's why I love having you in my life, man. Thank you for being a partner in all this. Everyone else, I love having you as part of the tribe. Let's go do something crazy.